I'm Gloria Strode, and welcome to Straightforward. We are on location at my beloved Carver High School, right here on 8th Street in East Winton. Coach Coffey, thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure to be here.
I tell you, this school has such a rich legacy. My entire family, myself and three of my siblings, had the pleasure to be a part of this great institution. Of course, I know that was long before you were ever thought of. Of course, we go back to the 60s and the 70s. But this Carver High School, on the hill, as the Baron would say back in the old days, who was a radio personality, and he had roll call, and people were always so very happy and proud to be able to call in and say they attended Carver High School or they attended Spencer High School. But as I understand it, you've had the pleasure of working at both.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Right, and those are legacy schools. Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, because before integration, those were the two choices that we had in terms of high school. And of course, you are a graduate of an HBCU, historical Black college and university. And what school is that?
Tuskegee University.
All right,
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Tuskegee University, very, very rich heritage. Awesome programs. We were in Washington, D.C. for Black Engineers program, and students from Tuskegee were there. And I was really surprised, not because I know it's excellence in education, but I wasn't even familiar with. We know they had veterinarian school. We were living in Green Bay and ran into some people there. He was a veterinarian and he was from Tuskegee.
Tuskegee, right.
So we have to promote more of that type of information for our young people. If we don't tell the story will never be told.
Absolutely.
Right. So we're welcoming you back to Carver as the head coach.
Yes, ma'am, that's right.
All right. And so you're excited, and what can we expect? Because you know we pride ourselves on being the best in
Absolutely.
everything. If you see all these trophies over the years. So what's the plan?
Well, I'm extremely excited. One thing, you know, that I pride myself on is make sure that I run a disciplined, very disciplined, hard-nosed physical football team. Everywhere that I've gone, that's one of the things that we've done.
Ooh, discipline and hard nose.
Absolutely. And I'm an educator, so I believe in educating our kids, creating the well-rounded individual, not just athlete. You know, the complete student athlete. So
I think that's important,
Absolutely.
Coach, because you know we know a lot of kids aspire to go to the NFL, and you know even with basketball they want to play professional.
Correct.
But you still have to have Plan A and Plan B.
And Plan C.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You know, because with myself, I've had many careers by profession. I'm a social worker, but over my last however many adult years, long before you were, you know, born, I've done many things.
Absolutely.
And so we have to make sure that they are well prepared.
Absolutely.
And we're no longer in that situation where you just go to school to do sports.
Correct.
That's unacceptable.
Unacceptable. That's
So
right.
with you believe in discipline and being on the academics as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I just think, of course, like you said, you got to have a Plan B and a Plan C. I've coached. I've been doing this for 16 years now.
Really?
Absolutely, yes, ma'am. And I've coached 14 of the years. 2 of the years I was assistant principal at Baker Middle School. I have a doctorate degree in educational leadership, so I am very, very adamant about
Isn't that something?
creating
And
a well-rounded
see,
individual.
now I have to stop you and commend you. When I met you this morning,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
didn't say, I am doctor. You
I'm
said,
Coach
I'm
Coffey.
Coach
I'm Coach
Coffey.
Coffey. Yes, ma'am.
And so, as we are visiting now, I learned that you have a PhD.
EDD.
EDD.
Correct.
Okay. And so, education,
Yes,
where
it's
I'm
key.
going with this is education is essential.
Absolutely.
You believe in that.
Absolutely.
And you believe in discipline. And I know if you worked at Baker and Spencer, and of course now Carver back again, you walk with a big stick.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
You walk with, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because before integration, at this very institution, Mr. DeRamus, who is still alive, and we love and we honor him. Of course, Dr. Charleston and Mr. Vernon, you know, they were a part of this legacy. But Mr. DeRamus is still around, looking good, doing good too. But he was the one that could walk the hall And even the guys that did a lot of things in the community, when they interface with him, they tighten up. So I'm almost
Yes,
thinking
ma'am.
that Coach Coffey is that same kind of guy.
I can be a absolutely.
That kind of guy, if necessary.
If necessary. That's
Right. So you're going to advocate for the kids.
Oh, I want.
You
Absolutely.
want discipline, and they have to work hard.
They got to work hard.
And all those things are important to success.
Absolutely, I believe hard work pays off. I'm a testament to that, and I've seen it. And one thing that I constantly, I try to get to our kids is to understand that where you are right now in life does not dictate where where you're gonna be at in the future.
Exactly. It's
So,
not where we start.
That's right.
It's where we finish.
Correct.
And it's not necessarily someone punching the ticket for you. You can not have the best shoes. I can speak to that. We didn't have, my father raised the four of us. My oldest sister is the class of 66. The next one is class of 67. The next one is 70. I'm 73. We didn't have designer clothes, but he meant for us to walk up that hill, rain, snow, sleet, or hail. Get here, do what you were supposed to do, and please don't let the people in charge call him, because it was going to be a serious misunderstanding. No, really. So he expected excellence, and so some of the kids that came that had probably a whole lot of the material things that we didn't have, and we don't begrudge that, they didn't all succeed as what was expected. So I have to go back and say, and I agree with you, it's not where you start, it's where you finish.
Absolutely.
It's what you do with what you have.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Because you can go to one of the best schools, but if you never open the book,
Does no good.
it does no good. Right.
You waste the time.
It is a waste of time. And so I know that you have probably some extra services for our athletes. Some might be struggling in math or things like that, because education is big for you.
Absolutely.
Not you really you snuck that one in on me. Just kind of real chill, but you know what? I like that.
Yeah, so some of the extra services that we have for the kids this summer, we're doing SAT prep. We will have study hall every Wednesday during the football season.
Really?
We have some teachers already, volunteered from each subject area to come in and work with our children. And so there should never be a time where we'll have a lapse in football players, getting their work done or struggling in a specific content area, because they will have those wraparound services.
Okay, see, that's what I mean. You looking at advocating for the total child, not just for the sports.
Absolutely.
Well, what we're going to do now, Coach, we're going to go to our first break to our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll be right back after a word from some of our sponsors. Straightforward is brought to you by State Senator Ed Harbison, serving the citizens of Georgia's 15th Senatorial District and on the front lines for veterans every day. Progressive Funeral Home, family owned and operated since 1952. The George Ford legacy of high standards continues today in the compassionate and professional services provided. A touch of dignity for those who care. Progressive Funeral Home, 4235 St. Mary's Road, trusted by generations. Charmaine K. Crabb at RE/MAX Champions Realty, 4800 Armour Road. As an associate broker of residential sales and property management, Charmaine takes your business personally. It's not about finding a dream home, but finding a home that is perfect for you. Call Team Crabb today at 706-392-6116. Welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing this great conversation with Coach Coffey at my beloved Carver High School, located on 8th Street. Coach, I am just excited. I wanted you to, before we were going to the break, and we're back now, but we were having a conversation about what does it look like when you want to make sure that the athletes are on track academically. Is that something that everybody's required to do? How do we make sure we're not getting to the end of the grading period and people are flunking out and that kind of thing? Right. Which I know this high school, you can't really flunk out, but what does that look like?
So in the 9-week period, roughly during the third week, we'll kind of start monitoring the kids or looking at their grades, start identifying, kids that may be struggling. That way we can kind of pair them with either an older student who's already taken the class that can kind of help tutor, or have a teacher or one of the coaches help tutor that child. But the key is, catching it early, around that third week mark, around the midterm period.
So do you have a system in place where teachers should alert you? For example, if they know someone's on the roster. I know in the old days, if you were in the band or you were major ed, or you were in the chorus, if you were not doing good, they made sure that they let that sponsor know that the person was not doing
Yes,
good.
ma'am. So absolutely. So at the beginning of the school year, once we start the football season, we have the complete roster. We'll email the roster out to the teachers. That way the teachers can, alert us for any discipline or behavior issues or academic issues. And most of the time, the teachers are pretty good, and they're very straight about, giving
Keeping you
us a call and
informed.
keeping us informed. Correct.
Yeah, now see, I like that. So at the beginning of once you've selected who's participating, then the teachers receive that roster, and you all are asking them to notify you of discipline.
Absolutely.
See, that's important,
Very
because I've heard about some very talented people, and they were so impressed with their talent, not here, but some places, where they thought that they could just get up and use their cell phone whenever they wanted to. And I thought, no, because that's not going to help you when you go to college, nor will it help you on a professional team. So you all have that in place. So not just for if they're getting behind, not doing the homework, but if they're not conducting themselves accordingly, then it's going to be some straightening.
Yeah, they'll come and talk to the coach.
And you said that with a smile.
Talk to the coach.
Yeah.
I think they all kind of know what that means.
And that's not going to be a good thing.
Nah.
Yeah, and so when we have serious incidents, then if we have to remove people, regardless of how talented they are, then they just have to be removed. Because it's what?
It's the whole child.
It's the whole child.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So I know that you have a very strong village. I actually know some of the people. I didn't know until I met you this morning, but I actually know some of those people in your village. And they are advocates for children and education.
Absolutely.
And so you credit them for your
Yeah, where I am now, just coming from a family full of educators, you have no other choice but to spend time in the school. And when I was a child, I mimicked teachers. I would walk around with a yardstick and go and say ABCs and make my older cousins say their ABCs.
You were a professor. So you was teaching from a child.
Absolutely. I would put it
my
I would put alphabets on the mantelpiece.
Really? So that means you're a good reader.
Yeah, I read.
Right, no, because see, if you were already recognizing the letters and you could teach the other children at 6, that means you're a reader, because a lot of folks don't understand. That's what was so important about learning your spelling words. You have to learn the ABCs, the spelling words, to learn how to read. I mean, it's like, it's building blocks.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And so you already knew you were going to be a professor.
At that time, I didn't. I was just mimicking what I saw.
Well, that was a good thing to mimic.
Right.
That was a good thing to mimic. So what did you major in at Tuskegee?
I majored in food and nutritional science at Tuskegee. My original plan, I wanted to go to pharmacy school.
Really?
And then I wanted to get into pharmaceutical sales. And
That's big money.
Yeah, but I've always played sports, and it was always something about, being out there on the ball field that attracted me. And once I got into education, it was just one of those things. I knew this was my calling.
And see, I'm glad that you shared that, and I'm sure you shared this with your students. What you thought you were going to Tuskegee to major in, once you got there and you looked at some things, then it's okay to be redirected.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, we don't need to be redirected, and you went to a HBCU, and I'm sure it happens in other schools. I'm a graduate of the Albany State University. That will not give you permission to be a professional student.
Correct.
You can't be redirected every 2 or 3 years to where it's taking you 10 years to get a degree that you should have already gotten in 4 years.
Right.
But it's okay to change.
Absolutely.
Because when we get more information, then we can make better decisions.
Right. And plan A, plan B, plan C.
Plan A, plan B, plan C.
Yep.
So when you're working with the students, since you said you were looking at nutrition, Are we talking to kids about that too?
Oh, absolutely. So when a football player comes in, one thing we've already done, we try to lay a plan out for them that way they know from ninth grade all the way to their senior year, what should they be doing educationally. What I have a strength and conditioning coach, Coach Patrick Butler. He played over at Auburn. Him and Coach Johnny Gardner, they do an extremely great job of making sure that the kids understand nutrition, understand what it means to lift weights and have the proper technique with lifting weights. And so what we're trying to do, we're trying to develop, like I said, the whole child from once they come in as a freshman to when they leave and sign a scholarship as a senior.
See, and I think that's important because, we grow up in different environments, everyone. And some people grow up where they can have a honey bun every day for breakfast.
Absolutely.
They won't eat at lunch.
Absolutely, right.
They're having pizza for dinner. But you need good, healthy, strong
Absolutely.
bodies. I mean, for people to be out there knocking people around,
Absolutely.
they really need to have a balanced meal. And we used to learn about the different colors on your plate. You need something green, something yellow, something. You follow what I'm saying?
So what we normally do, we kind of use the analogy of a race car. Like with the race car, you wouldn't put regular gas 87 in it. You put, your premium fuel or whatever that's specified for a race car. You know what I mean?
Premium,
right.
The more expensive gas.
So as an athlete, we tell the athlete like, hey, you can't just sit around and eat noodles and honey buns. You got to get your proteins, got to get your vegetables, making sure that you're hydrating, making sure that you're getting, different proteins. Because you're going to expend a lot of energy and a lot of sweat equity out on the football field. So.
See, and that's important, and we just take things for granted because a lot of us, we grew up eating what we didn't have a choice.
Absolutely.
Whatever they put on the table is what you ate.
Correct.
Now, it might not have been the best thing nutritionally,
Absolutely.
but we survived.
Yeah, correct.
But if you're going to train them in the proper way to prepare them for the college level or the professional level, we want to make sure we're giving them all the information, the skills, and the tools to be successful.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, what we're going to do now, Coach, is go to our final break to our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Carter Counseling Services in the White House at the Elms, 1846 Buena Vista Road, providing services to enhance the quality of life for clients by promoting healthy, stable interactions within relationships, counseling support to assist individuals in positive personal growth. Call Mr. Carter today at 706-570-8698. The Miley Agency, 4903 Armour Road. Gerald L. Miley and William Ripsinger have been providing comprehensive reviews and insuring families in Georgia and Alabama for more than 50 years. The Miley Agency will work non-stop to find you the best policy at the best price. You can rest assured that your information is secure, confidential, and protected. Call today at 706-996-2045. Vanessa Jackson School Board District 3 Successful Scholars Program, supporting students in achieving academic excellence, outstanding citizenship, and cultural enrichment. Believing in success for kids. Roz Cafe and Catering Services. Choose Roz as your personal chef, knowing every dish is prepared with attention to the finest details and extra care. She will make your next event one to remember, with 2 convenient locations to serve you: 390 Batzel Avenue, Fort Benning, and 3418 Buena Vista Road. Visit rozcafe.com. And welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing this wonderful conversation at my beloved Carver High School with the one and only Coach Coffey. Coach, you got a lot of programs and plans in place. And in this final segment, I want to make sure that I'm an alumni, my siblings are. I want you to invite the other alumni. Many are retired. We're at a different phase in life. People that can come in and help with different things, not taking over, but just be an extra set of hands, and what that process looked like. What is the process? What is the protocol? And you might get a pool of people that you can just have a list. I know we have Brother Dan Williams and Coach Felix and those that Brother Burnett, they all support you. Those are the mature alumni that have time and money. So we want to get those folks involved so they can help you, so you don't have to work so hard with our kids, because these are all our kids.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, like we were saying, it most definitely takes a village. And I want to, invite anybody to come in and, work with our children, make donations, if things that we need, things like washing powder, protein bars,
Right.
bottles of water, Gatorade. I mean, you can't never have too much of that stuff. Anything that's, monetary, they should go to the main office, check in. It's tax deductible. They would donate it to Carver football, and it would go directly to the school. So, excuse me. So this is where the proceeds will go, and that way it's in the correct account, and
Right.
I won't touch any.
Exactly. We're gonna make sure we do everything
Absolutely.
decent and in
Bible
order.
correct.
But I like what you said. You can never get too much water.
Absolutely.
Somebody can't write $1 million check
Correct.
like our friend Dan Williams,
Correct.
right? So they might want to just, when they go to Sam's and Publix, get an extra couple cases of water and drop those off at the office, and they label it for the football team.
Absolutely.
Or like you said, the protein bars. So there's a way that all of us that have benefited from this wonderful institution can give back. It doesn't all have to be the same way that
Correct.
we give back.
Correct. Absolutely. And it words of encouragement, having guys to come and lend their experience. One thing that I believe in, and one thing my dad always said, you can't discredit experience.
All right.
Somebody who went
I
on
like that.
and played in the NFL or played collegiate football,
Right.
and come back and tell their story, because our kids need to hear that.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So you got all of these camps and everything you got going on. Share that with us.
Yes, ma'am. So this summer we'll start our summer workouts on Monday, June 6th at 8 o'clock, and we go Monday through Thursday from 8 to about 12:30. And the camps that we're going to this summer, we're going to Georgia, UGA, we're going to Auburn, we're going to Florida State. We have several OTAs, organized team activities set up with some schools out of Atlanta. So during the month of June, we're going to be rocking and rolling. And in July, we'll go 8 to 2:30. We'll kind of have the kids in here all day to kind of transition from our summer workout phase to actually getting ready to go to practice and prepare for the season.
So you already working.
Oh, absolutely. We don't
And
stop.
because
Don't
it's
stop.
gonna be hot, we need that water.
Oh, absolutely.
We
Water,
need that
Gatorade.
Gatorade.
Yeah,
So for
absolutely.
all of our friends in the community, all of the ones that have been blessed to have that diploma that says Carver High School, 8th Street, Columbus,
Absolutely.
Georgia, they can give back if it's just cases of water, cases of Gatorade,
Gatorade powder, protein, all
yeah,
that stuff.
washing powder,
Peanut butter.
peanut butter. Okay, see, and even if you're on a fixed income, you might can go buy one get one free at Publix.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
should it be the chunky or the smooth?
It doesn't matter. Peanut butter, bread, jelly.
Right. Peanut butter, bread, and jelly. So see, that way you have made it where everyone can
Absolutely.
support.
Yes, ma'am.
And that makes it, the village.
Correct.
The village can participate. I know a lot of the people that attended here. They're my friends on social media. I'm excited that we're having this interview. So now I can tell them openly, we need peanut butter and jelly. What kind of bread? Should we be having whole wheat, or
It
we
doesn't
can
matter.
have the regular
It would be
white
regular.
bread?
Yeah, these kids would be regular.
All right, it would be
Yeah,
regular.
without y'all young athletes,
Okay,
I don't think
so
it
we
matters.
can just have the regular bread, right? We don't have to have the whole wheat or
No.
any designer bread. But no, that gives me joy because people are on fixed income, and at our age group, those of us from the 60s and the 70s, it's people at a different stage in life. But those are things that's doable where they can contribute to what you're doing here.
Absolutely.
Right. And so every year we have that classic. Now I know you've worked for both schools, but I just want to be real clear. We have a reputation and a
absolutely.
standard.
Absolutely.
And so some of us live for those bragging rights. So if you need for me to show up and just be cheering to make sure we win, because we have to be able to have those conversations with our church members, family members
correct.
that's on the other
Neighbors.
side. Oh yeah, we have to have that
Right.
victory. And some people don't understand how serious that is, Coach, but I gotta tell you now, it's serious business.
It's very serious, and I was enlightened when I first came to Carver in 2011, I kept hearing about the Heritage Bowl.
Right.
Being from Talbot County, you hear about it, but I hadn't experienced it.
Right.
And once I was coaching here under Coach McGee, and I was up in the press box, and about around 6:15,
right.
the stadium started filling up, and I was like, oh,
this is serious.
This is different. This is different.
Yeah, it is.
And so I thank God for the opportunity to be able to serve as a head coach at both of these great institutions. I between myself and Coach Kegel, we're probably the only two that ever done it.
Okay.
So,
yes.
It's going to be a great experience to be back in the Heritage Bowl and live through that excitement and of course see all the people. So
see all the people. Well, I'm very happy that you're here. I'm very excited. It seems like you have a solid plan in place. You're an advocate for the total child. I'm very, very, very proud of that because we don't want our kids to just be a one-trick pony.
Correct.
They got to have what? Plan A, B, and Plan C.
Correct.
So when you went to Tuskegee, you were looking at one major, but then as you got into it, you became more knowledgeable, and then you took a different approach.
Absolutely.
And that's okay. Yep. And we want our kids to know that. But you have to be prepared enough so that you do have other options.
Correct.
And so that's what I applaud you.
And I think that's why it's so important that we pour into our children. Like I said, because they need to be able to hear different stories. Because you never know how your story can impact somebody else.
Exactly. Well, I want to thank you so much for allowing us to come and share here. We got Moose and on the loose, and I was here with all of that, and just a very, very proud and rich heritage here at Carver High School. I know some of the people from your village, so when I run into them, I'll make sure I give a thumbs up and let them know they did an excellent job with you. We're expecting great things, but please don't hesitate to call on us to support you. We're here for you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
This has been straightforward. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Until next time, be blessed.